about aperture size. This glass has nowhere to go because it can't physically go, it can't jump out of the mold. It has nowhere to go but down. This can go down, but like I said, if this isn't hot enough, it'll come down and it'll pull in your reservoir and then overflow. Okay? What I found, and when I refer to students, I'm talking about when I taught college glass classes. A lot of times what I found is students would do this and they do everything right. Absolutely everything. Their mold would be impeccable, their glass would be spot on, the amount of glass they needed, and they'd look after about 6 or 7 hours up at high temp, and they'd see the top of their glass was flat and overflowing. And the general rule of thumb is when you're casting glass, you're looking for the top of the glass to be flat. That tells you that it's completely filled the mold. Well, if you look and this is flat, you can't see how much of that glass has run out here. So you might look at this and say, oh, my reservoir is completely flat. That means it's completely full. And they'll advance the kiln. They'll stop casting. And then it'll come down and they'll be left with like that much casting because this was way too cold, and they thought since this was flat, they're like, the top of the glass is flat, that means my mold is full. That's not always the case. Okay, so benefit in terms of glass flow, big reservoir is a huge benefit. Benefit of flower pot casting, you use far less mold material because you don't have to have this giant reservoir on your mold. I mean, in their diagram they do, but you don't have to. Okay, for this, you can reuse if you kiln wash the inside of the flower pots. You can use those flower pots until they just break down and disintegrate into nothing. Another benefit is in flower pot casting, if you mix colors, what happens is it dictates the pattern of the glass in the mold. So if this is my flower pot, and let's say I need 15 pounds of glass to fill my mold. Each one of my chunks of glass is 5 pounds. So I've got 3 chunks of glass, each 5 pounds, correct? I put them in like this. I make this one blue, this one clear, this one blue. My opening's only this big. So as this melts, it's gonna melt the clear and it's gonna suck the blue in. And with this, the glass just kind of all flows down in. With flower pot casting, you can control your flow pattern dictated by color and the height your flower pot is above your casting. So if at this height, the glass will just flow in nice and easy. If I took this and raised it up 18 inches above my mold so that the glass comes out and ends up being like a string by the time it makes it to the mold, what happens is so this is my mold here. Okay, it comes out real thick like that, but by the time it's in all this ambient air, and the ambient air of the kiln is hotter than everything else, so it stretches and thins out into a noodle, and when it lands,
Yeah.
It does that. So, you do that with one color, you've got a solid casting. You do that with two different colors, now you've got this nice clear swirl going through your blue casting. Or you do it with three colors and you get tie-dye. I don't know if Mary has any. Have any of you taken any of Mary's classes?
Yes.
Have you taken her flower pot class?
Not yet.